What are the most common things that people have wrong on their policy? Maybe they should have had this coverage, or they weren't covered enough here. Like, what are some of the things that maybe they could have done a little bit differently?
Yeah, unfortunately, you see a lot of times where you get an agent to say, "Here, let me take a look at your policy and see if I can save you some money." And what ends up happening is they take a lot of the coverage that is off the backside that you may not recognize as a tremendous amount of value. That one endorsement that we talk about a lot is that water backup of sewer and drains. A lot of people are scared by the larger number of coverage, but in reality, that number it has to be from my perspective, it has to be minimum of $10,000. Depending on what it's going to cost to rebuild your basement. If you have a major water loss and you have to have your carpet pulled and your drywall pulled and your trim pulled and you have contents that are damaged, $10,000 go really quick.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so you really need to have a good agent that's going to really do that replacement cost estimator, not only on your whole structure, but what it's going to cost to replace that basement in a time of a loss.
So it's mostly like, when things aren't covered correctly, it's usually like the water backup. You don't really see too much of anything else. I mean,
well,
every once in a while maybe.
So yeah, the sewers and again, just to talk a little bit about that water backup of sewers and drains. A lot of people think, well, I don't have a basement, or my basement's not finished, and I don't have a sump pump. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But water comes up from other places than from a sump pump.
Yeah.
Water comes up from your drains. That comes from your sewer line through your toilet. We see a lot of times when the city comes out and blows lines out, while they blow it out, but guess where everything that blows out goes? It's in people's homes sometimes. So
you don't actually even know that your drain fills can get overfilled.
That's right.
I know somebody who had their drain fill overflow. It kind of came back in a little bit.
Yep, and if it goes back into the home, again, that's where you're going to want to make sure your agent has done their due diligence to explain to you what's important with that water backup endorsement. So,
do you ever really see that where I guess just not having the coverage? So I mean, you probably see that claims getting denied because they just don't have that coverage or not enough. I mean, not enough wouldn't really get denied, but just not have that in general.
Well, actually, I just talked to somebody last night that had a water backup coverage, or a water backup claim in their home, and they didn't have the endorsement. They chose not to have it.
Oh, geez.
And they had a claim, and they ended up paying $20,000 out of their pocket, which is who has $20,000 laying around? Nobody, not me.
Not me either, man.
But even the problem is, too, Devin, is you have somebody that has $5,000 worth of coverage. We come in and do the remediation, and it can be as minimal as $1,500 to $2,000. But you get into a major remediation, it's going to cost you $5, $6, $7 grand.
Yeah.
And we've exceeded that in just the remediation portion of it. Now, if I got to put it back together for you, we're going to ask, where does the coverage come from? So yeah, it can be challenging and quite difficult to explain to the homeowner that you're only gonna have this much coverage, and usually that's the discussion that the adjuster will have, and then we'll try our best to sharpen our pencil for folks.